The first briefing was probably the most telling when the Joplin lieutenant said, "Listen guys, I know this is some of your first night here in Joplin. Let me tell you, when you step out of the car, you will be the tallest thing in 3 blocks." And I thought, how can that be? I mean, that's not reality. It's absolutely true. My 23 years of police work, I've never seen total devastation of such a large area. I guess it'd be closest to being into a war zone that I'll ever experience or hope to ever experience. We heard from Joplin that 47% of the homeowners didn't have home insurance. So 47% of the people are starting literally from scratch. No car, no house, no clothes, nothing. An engineer from Washington, D.C. compared the devastation in terms of cubic square yards of rubble to the World Trade Center. The World Trade Center was 1 million square yards of rubble, cubic square yards of rubble. Joplin is 7 million cubic square yards. The Joplin Police Department actually got the call from a doctor at St. John's, which is the hospital that was destroyed by the tornado. And he said, "Can you find my car? And inside is my wallet with my driver's license. I'd like to get it back." So Joplin PD responded to the hospital and looked for his car, and actually located his car a quarter mile away from where he parked it. And it was his whole car was about the size of the cab of this Crown Vic. You couldn't even fit your hand in the car. The motor was gone, and it had blown across the parking lot, across the street, and ended up in a yard of a house just to the east of the hospital. And it was just amazing because you couldn't tell if there's a wallet or anything in that car, because right inside the window was just all debris from the storm and the debris from inside the car. There's no way to tell if his wallet was in there or not. One of the most amazing things, again, in my career that I've seen is the outpouring of support for law enforcement. There is free food, water, Gatorade, pallets of pop, I mean, just out on the street corner. The support for law enforcement that have come to the area has just been amazing. And then the volunteers for the town people actually has been amazing too. The guys have gone out for dinner, no one will let you pay for a meal. One of the teams went out to a fairly nice restaurant here in Joplin. 3 tables were arguing about who could pay for the police officer's bill.
There was one couple especially, it was interesting. They came up to get some items out of their vehicle, and we tried to help them do that as best we could, and I just happened to ask them where they were in the hospital when it hit, and they said they had just walked into the emergency room, and as they did so, the tornado hit and blew the glass in on them. She said the only reason she was there alive is what she meant, was 2 men jumped on top of her because the tornado was trying to suck her back out the emergency room doors, and 2 men jumped on her and held her down. You know, it's completely restored my faith in human beings, because everybody down here was trying to do something good. They were trying to help other people, and everybody acted in a completely selfless manner, and it was inspirational to see that.
Just the devastation. I mean, I have never seen any. I've been through some tornadoes, not only on the department, but you know, personal life, and the damage was severe, but nothing to this magnitude. When I was stationed at the hospital the second or third day, I had an elderly lady who worked at the hospital for 30 years come up to me, and she just come up to me and put her arm around me. She's like, "I just have to see this. Can I stand here with you?" And I said, "Well, sure you can." And she started to cry a little bit, and she goes, and I asked her where she had been, you know, and if she was working that day, and she said no. She was at home and everything was okay, but she just had to see it, you know, and she felt sorry for the people that went through it, and it was just her way, you know, of getting through it and working through it, was seeing this stuff. And we talked about it, and she was glad that we were here, and but that was pretty touching for me. I saw the wind had taken a lawn chair and just drove it right through the tailgate of a vehicle, and just the stuff that it's done to some of the vehicles, and just the, you know, the way you see some of the property that's been destroyed, how it'll tear up something here, but then you know, 10 feet away something else is perfectly fine. For me, coming down here, seeing how people have pulled together here is amazing. I don't know that I've ever seen that. Everybody is helping each other the best they can, given with what they have to work with. They don't have a lot to work with anymore, as far as their property and stuff like that. That's probably one of the things that I'll take away from this, is how people can pull together when they need to. one night we were out to dinner as a group, and everybody in a table beside us stood up and gave us a standing ovation, and for us, we were very humble, but for them, we really haven't felt like we would helped them as much as we would like to, and for them to do that for us after they've lost, and they told us they lost everything, was really nice.
I wanted to come down here, and it was just something, my wife the other day when I left, she wanted me to hurry back, and I told her while I missed her at home, but it was something I had to do. I had to come down here, and I'm glad I did. Oh, it's just overwhelming. It's just overwhelming. I've seen 2 before stuck in the concrete on the side of the hospital. It was just wild. I had a lady pull up and she wanted directions to how to get to someplace, and when I explained to her I was from Kansas City, so my knowledge of town was limited, she put her hands on my arms and just kind of grabbed me, and she says, "We're really glad you're here, thank you." And it really makes you feel good. I think the lazy Sunday afternoon when you're laying around the house and the tornado warnings go off, I think it'll have a new meaning. You just won't sit in the living room watching TV or kind of do the dad thing where you walk out on a porch and look up at the sky to see what's going on. It'll have new meaning. We'll be in the basement.